Good morning and welcome to another Writer's Morning Commute with Ashton Gaskill. This morning we'll be discussing The Last Jedi from the perspective of a writer. So I'm just going to kind of go through some of the things that I think Last Jedi did poorly from a writing perspective, ways that I would have improved the plot outline overall, and kind of address some of the more common complaints I've been hearing. I might also mention something that I liked along the way, and there will definitely be spoilers. A reminder that I did really like this movie. I really liked this movie. So I'll start with the first thing that I loved. The two most, I don't know, there's only two. Some of the things that made me love this movie from a writing perspective were a lot of how it tied Luke's story into a circle. The moment where he's sitting down looking at the two suns setting, and that callback to when he was standing looking up at the two suns on Tatooine, like, all that was fantastic. R2 playing Leia's message for him, all that was beautifully done. Fantastic. I also think the overall message of both hope and how each of us needs internal balance, personal balance, were both very well handled. But I don't really have time to get into those topics. Those will probably each be a video by themselves. For some of the smaller things that I think would actually improve the story as opposed to what they did well. The first one was Leia's use of the Force to pull herself back into the ship. I think this was fine from a lore standpoint. We knew Leia was a Jedi. Force pulling is pretty much the easiest first thing that Jedis or Force sensitive people learn. So I don't think it's crazy to think that she could use a Force pull like that. And from a science perspective, it is possible to, as I mentioned in the last video, survive in space for a little while. Where I think they went wrong was not having her use the Force in the last movie, which, as I understand, the creative team on The Last Jedi had quite a bit of freedom, so it's possible that people working on The Force Awakens didn't even know this was going to happen. If they had had a bit more of a holistic view of what was going to occur, they could have set that up better. I think just showing her using the Force like that, just a little Force pull, and she could have a throwaway line about how, you know, she didn't do a lot of training with Luke, but she did pick up, you know, a couple tricks or whatever. That would have been helpful there, I think. And I think that would have eased a lot of people's issues with the scene, just because it felt like she suddenly developed a power that we didn't know she had, which kind of felt like cheating. If we had known it was a possibility, then it would have been better. Next thing I was going to talk about was... oh darn. Suddenly my brain is empty. Snoke's death. Oh man, in Phasma. Okay, so Snoke's death came quickly and suddenly, and we didn't really get any background on who he was. I think it's fine to have him be killed off in the manner he was. I wish that we would have gotten more background on who he was, where he came from, etc. before he died. Just a paragraph or two, something, I don't know. Some sort of more background. telling us why there's a suddenly super powerful villain who's been alive for 1,000 years that we've never heard of before. Phasma. She was so cool in the first one, Force Awakens. Then she falls into this like fiery pit, and we assume she's dead. Turns out she's not dead, but all she does is come back and is like, "Hey, I'm not dead. Fight, fight. Oh no, I fell into another fiery pit." I definitely would have just kept her dead. But if we're gonna bring her back, she would have been more obviously alive at the end of Force Awakens, and she would have appeared earlier in this movie. Oh, the other big thing I was going to talk about was the casino. It felt very tacked on. The issues were so many with that scene. It felt tacked on. It felt like a different time span. Like it felt like they were there for a different amount of time than what was going on at the same time with them. Definitely needed a major overhaul. Unfortunately, this has to be the end of our video today. Hopefully some of that was interesting to you. Certainly a topic I like to talk about. Thank you for riding with me, and I hope you have a great day.